So listen, we're really excited because what we want to share with you is a little bit about what we're doing in 2014 and what we did. And it's all about modern iconics. And what I want to share with you guys a little bit about modern iconics and what's so important about modern iconic is that modern iconic was really inspired by what was going on in the industry before. What was going on in the past. Famous hairdressers from the past, different iconic eras from the past, different styles. And what we did was to take those iconic eras and bring them to a modern day and put a twist on them. So that was really the inspiration that we created. So we're going to create 3 of those looks for you guys. We already pre-cut some of it, but we're going to share with you how we created that and really just take these next 10 minutes to kind of inspire and motivate you. And I think that's what we all need as hairdressers, right? We need inspiration, motivation, a little alcohol from time to time, because that's going to bring us to education.
Absolutely. Let's give it up for our Global Artistic Director, Mr. Gerard Caruso. Straight blades, please. You know what? When we talk about inspiration and motivation, what brings us to that point in our career? We think about celebrities now. What's happening? They're starting to cut their hair. Thank God Jennifer Lawrence cut that hair, because I'm tired of doing long hair. Don't you agree? We're putting the art back into what we do. Having that creativity and that inspiration is what you're going to see us do. I'm going to go through here and just break this hair. But what we're seeing now is a trend that's starting to change. It's about making hair fun again and putting the artistic approach back into it. Between her, Jennifer Hudson, celebrities, start cutting that hair. It's time to have some fun again. Put that artistic approach back into what we do.
You know, they're talking about inspiration, everything that you're looking at. You know, what I'm going to be working on today is something a little bit more editorial. You know, what I've seen, I'm really excited about it. In the salon and all over when you're looking at media, you're seeing a lot of more hair styling. Actually, people dressing hair, going in and really working with that hair. So using texture to create movement and shape within that hair, but then going back and finishing that hair. Using other forms of texturizing, such as flat irons, curling irons, creating extreme textures, and getting that more avant-garde look. Learning how to style hair and show hair in a different light. That's one of the things I love about what we do is we're able to take something and use it as a canvas, use our hair as a canvas, and we can really work with that hair to create anything. So thinking about sculpting that hair. And as we're working, you'll notice we're using all of our textures and we're creating shapes falling with the head. We're working with our head shape to create everything that we're doing. All of our texture, all of our shapes, all of that movement, and even the color applications that we use.
Do you know what, guys? Here's the bottom line. It's hairdressers, and when you think about everything that we do, we have so much capability within the palm of our hands. We can dictate our annual income. We can simply go in there and cosmetically change somebody, you know, make them feel better about themselves, kind of reposition the hair. Because you know what? Distribution of hair is a haircut. It's not necessarily always how much you take off. It's how you distribute that hair and what you're doing to create that. So for modern iconics, it gave us a lot more freedom than we've ever had as hairdressers before. Because modern iconics and what the inspiration with the whole team was the simple fact that we were simply able to go in there and cut the hair to where we felt that we needed it to be and reshape the hair. And using blades like a gamma blade, which is a 35-tooth blade that's going to allow you to go in there and create that velvety effect into hair. So when you think about the options that we do have, you know, we divide the hair up in the new collection. We divide the hair up into either 3 quads or 4 quads. And we start to cut the hair, whether we're undercutting it or we're simply going in there and scooping out the hair. But the whole idea is that we watch that hair to fall into place and to simply go in there and follow and shape the head or the hair to follow that shape of the head. It is allowing us to create that softness. Now we did go in there prior to this and kind of cut that all off and really scissor over comb that and really get that tight. So we're just going back in to break it all up. And when you think about the options you have, you know, I'm a big true believer, and I tell my staff this all the time. You know what? We are not better hairdressers than any of you guys. We are simply hairdressers that believe or have a method in the way that we approach hair that allows us to go in there and create whatever we want to create within the spectrum of hair. That's the only difference between you guys and us, is that we have that kind of method that allows us to break that hair down into a symptomatic way. So really take your career a little bit different and bring it a little bit more open. Be open to different ways to approach hair because it allows you to be a little bit more creative when you think about what's going on.
You know, I think that's a great point that you talked about, Gerard, is the creative part of it. I think what's lost in our industry, sometimes we get so caught up into the technical part, but I like the way that we marriage the two together, or meld those two together to create that look. And having that in mind, short hair can be sexy still too, but it's how you leave it. Leaving the softness through the sides, it's soft feminine through the sides. Through our back, how it's still soft through the bottom. What we're looking for, and still giving her some hair she can play with by utilizing my alpha blade just to go through here and break up and create the texture. As you can tell, it's a quick method, because one thing that I love that RUSK has shown me as a hairstylist is how to make more money. And who doesn't want to make more money?
Amen.
Okay, so none of y'all want to make any more money, huh? I always want to make more money. And the great thing about it is how we can use that to adapt and use your creativity to make it your own.
You know, talking about making more money and creativity, that's the whole key in the salon. Keeping everything exciting, keeping you know, you go into the salon, you want to be excited, you want your clients to be excited. The best way to do that is to really keep up with the modern trends and really offer them something new and exciting. So I'm working on a fringe shape, but I'm actually taking this fringe nice and wide. So we're going a little bit wider than a traditional fringe. Something a little bit more modern, something a little bit more avant-garde. And you know, working with your clients and saying, hey, I would like to just take that bang just a little bit wider, a little bit further apart, and see what you can get from your clients. I have found that you can always inspire your clients to push their area of comfort, leave their comfort zone to create something that's a little bit more exciting for them. Not only do you challenge yourself, but you challenge them in the salon. So when you're thinking about working with your clients, thinking about how you can create something that's a little bit more editorial, something that just really pops in your face just a little bit more. And let's say they're not open to such a wider fringe. You can always go in and put in a track, and then you can cut a wide fringe. So you can really manipulate their hair texture by adding different types of editorial effects to that hair.
You know, I'm listening to Tim talk to you guys, and he's sharing a little bit about editorial. And, you know, when you think about it on a day-to-day basis, you know, we're fortunate. The three of us get together, we do photo shoots, we do editorial, we do all that work. But when I really, really break that down, and I think about what you guys do on a day-to-day basis in the salon, you're doing the same thing. And if you try to understand where I'm coming from with that, is don't your clients come into you and show you a photograph? They show you a photograph, right, that they tore out of a magazine that was done in a photo shoot. And you take that photograph and you duplicate that into your system, your way. So you do editorial more than most of the session stylists that are out there. And I think when you look at that, I applaud every hairdresser, because it's not necessarily about, you know, the hottest or the newest style out there, but it's about hey, I went to Premiereorlando. You know what? I saw every major hitter possible on that main stage, because I sat there, because education was important to me. And I listened to everything that every educator told me. And then I went home and I did everything on that one client.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah. But you know what, guys? I applaud you guys, because if you turn around and you look at it, it gives you that opportunity to take that and maybe not do it exactly the way I'm doing it, but break it down to fit your needs and the client that walks through your door. And I think that's what's really important. You know what? A wise man once told me one time, and he's amazing, and we're really good friends, and he said to me, you know what, Gerard? The way we do hair and the way we cut hair isn't going to change, but the tools that we use to do that work are going to change.
Wow.
So how do we adapt ourselves to those tools? And I don't just look at tools as working with the 35-tooth RUSK VG10 steel blade that RUSK can offer you guys, but the products I use in the hair, the sections I take in the hair, the way, you know what? Bottom line, when you think about it, wasn't it Marilyn Monroe who insured her legs? Didn't she insure her legs, Marilyn Monroe? We as hairdressers should insure our hands. They're your most valuable tool. So what I want to do is I want to be a part of your most valuable tool, and I want to put a pair of blades in those hands that are going to allow you to approach it a little bit easier. So think about that. Think about the tools that you're working. And you know what? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just making that wheel a little bit easier to glide along and to bring that extra money, like Marcus said, to your salon.
we talk about session work, as Gerard said, and it's so funny because we get caught up in what we do and forget about that. Having the right tools, it's, as Gerard said, taking the skills that you've learned and incorporating that to create a total different look. And having that in mind, part of our 5 new products that if you haven't had the opportunity to try, I'm running through and working with our paste. Because what happens is, the great thing about this product is it contains 3 ingredients that are unique to us at RUSK, sorry. Get a little tongue tire there. And working it throughout, thinking about that, guys, she's pre-lightened already. So we've used our Deep Shine White Lightener, then we've gone through and toned her with our Demi, and then this hair is what? I hear this all the time. When I'm dealing with hair that's this texture, I tend to see lines. How do I alleviate those lines? Well, the texturizing. But to support that along the way, we have the right products. And the great thing with this is the paste is what you're going to find is the hydrolyzed quinoa, the silk amino acids and the keratin are going to maintain that shine, but it's going to give us that new shine today. And as Gerard said, when we talk about editorial stylists, we do it every day in the salon, but we take it for granted because what happens is someone comes to the salon and says, I want to look like this. And I'm looking at her and said, first of all, she's 20 and you're 60. It ain't going to happen. But we'll make something that's critiqued or customized for that individual person. And having that in mind and having the right products, the right tools, what techniques, what methods can we use to create that look is exactly what we're looking for.
You know, both of my colleagues are talking about texture and how we can create more editorial styles. Texture is really the key. Now, I always work with my clients, and I give them a haircut, and I tell them, you know, a haircut to me is just like an outfit. Let's say you go out to the store, you buy a blouse. Are you going to wear that same shirt with the same slacks or the same skirt or the same whatever every single time? No, you're going to mix it up. So sharing with your clients how they can manipulate their texture and create different types of shape. Editorial work isn't always avant-garde. Sometimes it's just something that's going to be a little bit more, you know, nightclub friendly, or if you're going to a special event. Really creating different types of textures. So what we're really doing here now is we're really going in, and I'm creating a more disheveled texture with my flat iron, my CTC flat iron, and we're also using our RUSK Curl Freak to create a really structured curl, really quickly, really simply, and you can see how quick these curls come into place. So using your tools to really manipulate the hair and create the type of texture that you want so that you have the foundation for the types of shapes that you want when you're doing more editorial work, when you're doing more fashion-friendly styles.
You know, thinking about the curl freak over there and how we create textures and thinking about the tools that we work with, you know, whether you're working on dry cutting or whether you're working simply on going back in there and wet cut, you know, when we think about different tools that we work with, I'm blowing it out with a super freak because I'm freaky like that. You know, so I need that super freak blow dryer that's going to allow me to go in there and what? You know, by spraying that shine spray that we sprayed into the hair, that was allowing me to go in there and really create separation on all the texture that you create. And when you think about it, it makes your job easier, right? So here's the deal. I'm going to pick that putty up that we talked about. And with the putty, okay, what's so cool about this is that it allows you to go in there and beef up the hair. So I can take this putty and, like Marcus was talking about, hydrolyzed quinoa, silk amino acids, I didn't even know what quinoa was. I ate it. I found it here on the menu at the hotel, so I had to eat it. I think I like it better in product than I do in my stomach. But anyway, so by taking that putty, I can simply go in there. Look, the hair doesn't grab to it. But look at what it's doing. It's separating it. It's accentuating all those pieces. It doesn't allow it. And you know what? When you think about that, silk amino acids, hydrolyzed quinoa, hydrolyzed keratin, you know what? What do we feel at RUSK? Well, we're going to preserve everything that you guys could possibly, the integrity of the hair, like Marcus was talking about earlier. But when you think about it, what is the number one, it does a lot of things, but what is the number one investment that your clients make on a day-to-day basis? Color, right? Color is the number one investment. So with working with a product line, this is what we talk about when we talk about session work, that we go in there. To go in there and work with a product that's simply going to go in there and smooth that hair out, and most importantly, save it. I'm just going to go in there and finish this up by flicking some pieces out, really not trying to go in there and flat iron the entire head, but to really get that product so that it goes into the hair and enhances all that separation.
You know, what we're seeing a lot of in hair is creating texture, having those right products just by going through and taking some bits, twisting that hair, because what I want to do is I want to lift this hair up. I want to create that movement. So remember, hot hair is like wet hair, and thinking about that and working with the flat iron, the great thing about our CTC flat iron here is it has a temperature control on it. So it allows me to address this hair type that we're dealing with, realizing that she has a delicate fiber of hair on there. So twisting that hair and working with that by lifting that hair up, that's going to create that editorial look, bringing that up off of her face. Working with the texture spray. Can I say texture spray just for 1 minute? I think it's important because I'm a visual person. Texture spray, if you haven't had the opportunity to try it, this is an amazing spray that gives you texture and movement and gives that hair that lived-in feel that we're looking for today. By creating that and moving throughout and using those two products together so far enables me to create a multitude of different looks there.
Look at Timmy curl that hair.
You go, Timothy Lee. Freezing spray, my dear?
You know, there's no better way to lock in your style, you know, but still have mobility in there. So just going in there and freezing everything into place. You know, it's funny because we tend to really think that we need to go in there and saturate the hair with hairspray when you really just need to go in there and piece out the hair. You know why? Here's the bottom line. So a freezing spray that's going to block out humidity up to 100%. So you know what, I always make a joke about this. You know what, this in New Jersey stops a bird in flight. Here in Florida, you know all you women that are sitting in the pool but nobody goes under the water because you're afraid to mess up your hair? Start dipping under, guys. Cool off. Because you can go in there and preserve that style and really work in there. So you know what, so really going in there and freezing that hair into place allows you to go in there and create, like Marcus is talking about, that session work that you guys want to create.
I too am just going through, just by finishing off a little with a freezing spray. Working with tools and having that. I hear all the time in the salon, well, you know what, I don't do that type of hair. Well, you know what, you don't have to take it to this level. You can use that same method and just keep that hair flat. So you're able to show the versatility. Short hair can still be sexy as long as it has that appeal where you have the versatility of bringing this hair straight down. It can be flat, or you can lift it up and show all that movement. Working with texture, but having the right tools, the right technique, and taking that, as Gerard said earlier, I know that I'm not a better hairstylist than anyone else, but what I do know is I have a strong understanding of cutting. Why? Because RUSK has given me that ability to be more confident in what we do. And having that, so when someone brings a picture into the salon and says to me, I like this, Marcus, how can I do it? I break it down. Break that haircut down. What method and approach am I going to use to create that look?
Nice over there, Mr. Editorial Man.
You go,
So working
Mr.
with
Man.
texture, just using product to really kind of manipulate and control that texture, using your fingers to really create a really more torn texture, using different types of shapes and curls, really giving you more of that editorial shape, because nothing is consistent. It's all about irregularity. It's all about movement and the juxtaposition between shapes, textures, colors, working with that hair texture to create different types of looks.
You know what, so if you take a little bit of, look, you know, how Tim is going in there and really creating that editorial look, and if you think about that, is it something that your client's going to wear on a day-to-day basis? Absolutely not. But is it something that you can approach and make to be a little bit more demure? That's your job, guys. We're just here to inspire you. These are 3 looks from our Modern Iconic collection to hopefully inspire you, give you a little bit of taste of what really is going on. Stop down by the booth a little bit later or by the theater stage. We are going to go through these step by step and show you exactly what's going on. Modern Iconics, ladies and gentlemen.